I don't ever know what cute names to call guys. Daddy is certainly up there, but not every guy likes it and there have to be others. I feel like it's so much easier to name us girls. And lastly, is it weird if I, as a female, call you brother or friend? Story 1. When I first started dating my partner, I called him handsome. He melted and said, "No one has ever called me handsome before." I've made sure to call him handsome every day since. Story 2. Balthazar the Magnificent, first and last of his name, titled in enormity like an edict hung at the entryway of hell, brazen and serene as the swallowing mouth of dawn as it vaporizes the first dew of the morning, ravager of maidens, tamer of wildebeest, doer of deeds. Alternatively, Pookie Boo. Story 3. My wife calls me Squishy, like from Finding Nemo. I shall call you Squishy, and you will be my Squishy, and you shall be mine, and I love it. I personally hate being called Daddy. It makes me cringe so hard. Story 4. I had an ex that used to call me Daddy, and one time she just kind of messed it up and instead of Daddy, she said Dad. And that made the whole thing feel so sinister. From that point on, she would call me Dad whenever she wanted to mess with me or creep me out. Dad just hits so much different. Story 5. I called my fiancée my love for years, and she's recently started doing the same. Honestly, I'm a genius because I absolutely love being called that. Alternatively, she once called me Big Guy at the start of an intimate moment, and it totally ruined the mood because I couldn't stop laughing for about 3 hours. Anyway, I am a dude, so that's fine, but you are not a bro, so that's off limits to you or something I doubt anyone really cares about. Story 6. I personally wouldn't want to be called brother, but dude is perfectly fine. I think most guys would appreciate being asked bluntly. As for cutesy names, anything goes personally, but that could be because I'm goofy as ever, and the idea of my partner calling me something like cupcake or sugar dumpling while we're in the checkout at the grocery store is hilarious to me. The less seriously your guy takes himself, the more names you can use, in my opinion. Story 7. This is one that shouldn't be overthought, but I do understand why some people do. My wife isn't the most creative in this department, but she definitely does use the cutesy names. Hey lover, hey sexy, babe, baby, handsome, etc. These are staples in our house. I found it's what follows the name that is the most important. Like, hey sexy, are you going to cut the grass? Is a lot less impactful than hey sexy, I want you to make love to me. Story 8. I always find daddy kinda gross. I much prefer sexy or something else that's a compliment like handsome. Even honey or babe is better than daddy. Story 9. I am in my early 60s, and daddy has always been the cringiest term ever. I have never understood why either person would find it endearing or hot. Now, in the right setting, sir can be hot. Story 10. Love. I don't know, but I really like it. My current partner always does that, and I haven't been called like that before, so it was something new to me. It all started because I'm from a non-English speaking country, and she had problems with pronouncing my name correctly. Story 11. I like it when she calls me her cute little retard. As an aside, I always found it hypocritical how it's perfectly fine and acceptable for girls to call their boyfriends daddy. But society thinks it's weird if you ask your girlfriend to call you big brother. Story 12. Language differences are extremely important for these. In Colombia, at least in the center of the country, we call the people we love gordo or gorda, which literally translates to fat. And I would say it's equivalent to sweetheart or maybe hun. My girlfriend calls me mi gordito, which means my little fatty, and I love it. I'm not fat, and when we use the word in that context, it is never related to weight, whether that's with friends or partners. Story 13. I, in general, don't care what I'm called. Most of my girlfriends choose babe, call me bro or dude, but only if friends or in the right context. Otherwise, it feels weird to be called bro or dude by a girlfriend. I also prefer to be called adorable, not cute. Cute feels weird for a 6'4" guy. Story 14. Gen Zer here. If you call us dude or bro, you might as well call us friend. I personally think if a woman calls me that, she is clearly establishing what zone I am in. Story 15. I like being called by my name. In any situation, if you're going to call a guy daddy, just call him sir instead, and it's both more innocent and hotter at the same time in my opinion. I also like darling and honey. Story 16. I never liked to be called any cutesy name. I had exes do that, and I felt like I had to call them by one of those words in return, and it always made me uncomfortable. It's just not me. Story 17. Especially not daddy. That's the biggest cringe and turnoff for me. Bro or dude from a female is totally fine, though not from my girlfriend, except in a funny or sarcastic way. Story 18. Calling a partner daddy is icky as F asterisk asterisk asterisk. Hun, honey, dear, and babe aren't so icky, but using someone's name can never be bad. Mr. Fancy was what my wife had printed on a shirt for rugby that I still have nearly 20 years on. Story 19. They don't get daddy out the gate. That has meaning and a lot of connotations. I want to make sure they understand both before they float that one. Other than that, I've been largely the standard fare. Girls aren't particularly creative in my experience. So, sir, honey, baby, etc. Story 20. From a girl who I found was just playing games with me. I accidentally fell asleep after saying I would message her, and she posted to our group chat asking where her man is. For some reason, I just really enjoyed that, hoping I can find someone willing to do that in the future. Story 21. Don't call me brother or dude if you want to be romantic with me. If we are friends and that is all we are ever going to be, cool brother. I have always liked being honey, babe, or just my name with a very specific inflection. Story 22. I think bro and dude work well once we are together and comfortable. I would maybe think that sends mixed signals early on when we are figuring things out, and maybe I am still not entirely sure where things are going. Once we are good and in it, though, I would like it. Daddy is a weird one to me. I've never really liked it. I thought I would, but it just never felt right, even in the privacy of the bedroom. I think babe or love are pretty standard ones as well that are appropriately romantic and flirty, while being very comfortable and cozy. Story 23. I found the older I get, the less appealing daddy is for me, and I love the dumb pet name anyone gives me when we date. Even just handsome or honey sounds a lot better. Story 24. Some girls I have seen have called me by my full first name when usually I go by the shortened version. For some reason, it's so damn cute. Things like darling, my love, handsome, and babe are great too. During sex, I like to be dominant, so calling me sir is a huge turn on, but daddy is a stretch. As for dude or bro, no. What are we, boys? Buds? Feels too platonic and can even come off a bit disrespectful given the context. Story 25. The thought of calling a dude daddy makes me want to vomit. That's genuinely sick. I'm so glad my boyfriend agrees. You have issues calling a dude daddy, unless he is literally the father of your kids and you're telling them to ask daddy or something like that. But definitely not as a pet name. A W. Story 26. I really enjoy hearing my name from my loved ones, but I'd leave this world if she called me Funk Punk, Short Stuff, Little Man, Goof Bomber, Pretty Boy, Fuck Boy, Garden Slut. I have a type. Story 27. Daddy is a no-go. I really dislike it. It depends on how laid back the guy is, as I saw another person comment. My girlfriends relatively often call me any noun that even vaguely rhymes with my name. Handsome is nice, though whether the guy has good enough self-esteem to accept the compliment is a different topic. Bro and dude are fine. I get called that by a girl and it works. It's not cutesy, but it's fine. Story 28. Daddy is a definite no. Only one person in the world is allowed to call me that, because I am literally her father. Brother. Only by my sister. Buddy. Sure, why not? Dude. Yes. Mate. Fine unless I'm interested in being more than friends. Then no. Man. Yes. My guy. Also, yes. My king. Sure. I knew someone who actually called guys who made her laugh, my king. It was a nice ego boost. Story 29. Had an ex who called me Bunny. I don't really know why she did, but I liked it. My current girlfriend once called me bro or dude. Can't remember which to be honest. And it made me do a double take. Then we laughed about it. Story 30. I'll say this. Try out some of the names people have mentioned here, but if your partner absolutely does not like the name, please stop calling them that. I had a girlfriend who called me Pookie Bear, and I really hated it, but she refused to stop calling me that. So I stopped responding to it, and of course it caused a pointless argument. Story 31. Honestly, for me, I accepted what I was given. I knew whatever my girlfriend came up with was, in her mind, an attempt to solidify our relationship. I knew she wanted to express affection and form an inside, just us type of thing. Daddy is kind of an odd one at first glance, but is it really any odder than honey, sweetie, or any number of other common nicknames? As long as a guy states they dislike it for one reason or another, I think most of us are just happy we have a woman giving us a nickname. Story 32. It is because daddy is like incest. I do not like names. Babe is about as far as it gets before I have to speak up about the issue of these names. I do not like honey or getting a bless out of anyone either. It really pokes my brain. Story 33. My wife calls me babe, and I feel like that's the default. I don't mind it, and I prefer to be called that instead of my name. She also calls me whiskey. It was the drink I ordered the first time we met, and I pronounced it with a super southern accent. Story 34. Lord Keltor, master of the Realm Guard, hero of the Tempest Stand. Babe, or something like that works too. Daddy is hit or miss. That's one I'll allow if she wants to use it, but I won't ever ask for it. If you call me dude or bro, I'm assuming our relationship is purely platonic, and I have bested you in a fart contest. Story 35. Be careful with daddy. I don't have a real problem with it per se, but personally, I am not a big strong dude. I'm 6'1", but I'm skinny and relatively weak, and when a girl calls me daddy, I feel inadequate because daddy has some sort of dominant connotation, and I am not that. Story 36. A girl I dated briefly called me big guy, and that really did it for me. A girl I went on a couple of dates with recently called me honey a lot and had a bit of a southern accent, and that drove me pretty crazy. I was surprised by how into that I was. Story 37. My fiancé calls me Tasty Cake. The origin of the pet name? Years ago, I was heading over to her place and stopped at the store to buy some drinks and snacks. Two of those items were Tasty Cake honey buns. I told her those are the best honey buns in the world. She loved them, and now I'm saved under her contacts with that name. Story 38. She calls me skinny, bitch, snowman, Dumbo, cutie, princess, queen, babe, my Barbie, kiddo, mister, handsome, Vadi, she's Gujarati. All these names depend on her mood, lol. Story 39. Calling a guy daddy is disturbing on nearly every possible level. If a guy wants to be called daddy by a girl he is having sex with, you should call the police. And no, it's weird if you call a guy you are dating bro. Much for the same reason that calling him daddy is weird. As for cutesy names, I liked being called Mr. Thick Dick, also known as the Panty Melter. Always made me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside and on the outside. Story 40. I'm totally fine with girls calling me dude or bro. Some of my close friends even call me girl sometimes when they're spilling tea, and honestly, I appreciate that the most because it's a confirmation of how close I am to them and that we've got a sibling-like bond. As for a partner, I'm a sucker for old romance novels like Pride and Prejudice, so something a bit old-fashioned like Beloved would melt me. Story 41. Bro is reserved for the boys, same as browski or bromy. Dude gets a pass but is not cutesy. Daddy has more sexual connotations than cutesy. Bud, buddy, potential hubby, mad lad, pogchamp, epic gamer, honorable worker, beardy boy, maldy baldy, honey, sweetie, lover are all perfectly fine. Context is important though, laughing out loud. Story 42. If a girl calls me dude, bro, or bae, I take it as a red flag. I am instantly not interested. It makes me feel like I am talking to a high schooler. I guess baby, love, daddy, or sugar plum. Anything is better than dude, bro, or bae. Story 43. Bro, no. Not from a female unless it's actually my sister. It feels weird to me and I don't even know why. Dude is fine. The cutesy names, I don't really have an opinion on which ones I prefer. I just respond to whichever one is chosen by my partner. My wife tends to make up her own silly ones. It's whatever for me. I do like it when she calls me daddy, but not like in public or around other people because that makes it weird. When I was young, I thought it was creepy if I heard women call their boyfriends or husbands daddy, but something happened that changed that. I'm approaching 50 now, and several months ago, I was just walking down the street on my lunch break. I live in a very touristy town, and there are several hotels downtown because it's waterfront. Anyway, I was walking by one of them, and there were balconies on the second floor, above the sidewalk. There was a group of girls, maybe mid-20s, standing on a balcony, drinks in hand. Obviously in town for a girls' trip or something. As I passed under their balcony, one of them saw me and yelled out, "Oh, hey daddy." I don't get catcalled like that. I mean, I don't think it's common for men to get catcalled in general. This happened twice in my entire life. Once in a parking lot at Lowe's and this time. Anyway, I just sort of flashed her a shy smile and kept walking. I was so caught off guard. I didn't even know how to respond. It was kind of embarrassing, but at the same time, I was on cloud nine from the ego boost. I was definitely feeling good about myself for the rest of that day. Okay. It was longer than that day. Okay, fine. I'm still living on that moment all these months later. Happy now. So, I couldn't wait to tell my wife the story and about how lucky she was to be married to such a hunk. Anyway, wife and I are making dinner and I tell her my story. We both laughed about it and she kind of teased me about it a little, but ever since then she's taken to calling me daddy. Not all the time, just during intimate times, and just the seductive way she says it turns me on. It's just really attractive when she does it. Long story short, I used to think the whole daddy thing was weird and sort of inappropriate. Now I've changed my opinion. Some guys are into it, some aren't. It's best to ask before just deciding to call him that. But just because he's not into it now doesn't mean he won't ever be.